Hello everybody, my name is Damugas. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we will be talking about Apache Airflow. I will show you some basics, some concepts and terminology of Airflow. If you prefer to read these without YouTube, feel free to go to my blog at moravsky.blog. So what is actually Airflow? It's a scheduling service allowing you to schedule your jobs in a particular order. It is written in Python. Originally it was developed by Airbnb in 2014. Now it belongs to the Apache Foundation. When you actually want to use it, imagine you have these kind of dependencies of your jobs, A, B, C, D, and E. And to execute B, you have to wait on C and B. And to execute both of them, you have to execute A and E before. And Airflow allows you to manage these kind of dependencies quite easily with Python code. When you actually don't want to use it, when you have something particular already in your stack, for example, AWS provides step functions. With this kind of functionality, you can use it as well. But if you don't have the possibility to use AWS or you want to prefer an on-premise installation, you can use Apache Airflow. Also, when you have no branching or just sequential order of execution, Airflow will be maybe a little bit too much for your needs. And if you don't like Python in general, Airflow will also be not a good choice for you. Let's jump to the first definition, which is a task. I already showed the task. Task in the terminology of Airflow is this kind of job that you can run by itself. You can restart it. The output of the job will be logged in the Airflow UI, and you also define the dependencies on the task level. The next one is the DAG. A DAG is actually a container of a collection of tasks with their dependencies. You can also call Airflow just a collection application for collections of DAGs. When you have a cyclic dependency, like I now added here from D to A, this is actually not supported by Airflow. But the workflow you can imagine is when you want to have a job run a daily base, you want to restart it. To have this kind of functionality, you can use cron-tab style definition in your DAG to have it scheduled appropriately, for example, at 9 a.m. UTC, and removing the cyclic dependency. The next one is the operator. The first and the most simple one is the bash operator. It allows you to execute arbitrary bash commands. Let's give an example for, in this presentation, delete the last file in the current directory. So let's create a new file for testing, and then the next one will be ls for listing the directory content. Then we want to next get the last element using tail, giving -n1 for one particular record. And the next one will be an xargs call for actually removing the element. In this example, I added an echo here so you can actually see what's happening. It's creating a command rmx.txt. But for a real deletion, you just have to remove the echo. These, of course, you can all put into one bash operator. That will work fine, but it will not give you the benefits of Airflow at all. And instead, what I would suggest is moving each of these calls into a separate task. The first one is the ls, then the tail, and then the removing. These allows you, when one of these will crash, on the one hand, see the output when it's failing and why it's failing, and also restarting it from an appropriate step that failed and not the entire chain, which is maybe not required or quite computationally expensive depending on what you're doing with your bash command. When you have to do some cross-task communication, there is a built-in mechanism called XCom. With it, you will just have to write Jinja templates and pushing and pulling data from these XCom database, which is built into Airflow, to feed the appropriate information you need in your next job. The next one I will be showing you is the Python operator, which allows you to execute arbitrary Python code directly out of Airflow. You can also use global variables and define them inside Airflow, but you have to remember you shouldn't use them. What I had failed with at first is to use it for state management. So everything that is related to a state should be handled in the DAG itself. We use global variables at my current company to storing, for example, AWS credentials that are not really bound to a state. When you want to cross-communicate between DAGs, we use a little bit trick here. We execute actually a new airflow subcommand from a bash operator to trigger a second DAG run. Using the airflow command line with a DAG allows you to pass arbitrary JSON, which allows you to pass as much data as you want, actually. And this was the small introduction. I hope you like it. Next time I'll be showing you a little bit of the UI of Airflow, and if you have any feedback, feel free to write in the comments.